good morning everyone. So today we are going to discuss about topic 2, the accounting concept and accounting equation. Okay, shall we start now? Okay, come. Alright, now we are going to the third part of topic 2, that is accounting equations. So for those who have taken account last year, I think this topic must be very familiar to you guys. So in Malay term, we call it persamaan perekonomian. So as you can see from the slide, asset is always equal to liability plus owner equity. Ataupun asset sentiasa sama dengan liability campur equity pemilik. So if I'm going to expand the formula from the top, you can see the asset equal to liability plus, and you have to remember the owner equity actually is comprised of capital plus revenue minus expenses and minus drawing. So let me go to the following slide. Now, what is meaning of asset? So when we are talking about asset, right, actually this asset refers to the wealth or resources owned by the businesses. Assets are divided into two groups. The first one is a non-current asset, and the second is a current asset. So we look at the first part, the non-current asset. So when we are talking about non-current asset, this non-current asset refers to the asset that have useful life extend over more than one accounting period. In other words, it's more than 1 year. So it can divide it into three. The first part is tangible or fixed asset. So when I'm talking about tangible or fixed asset, it's referred to the physical asset that are used in operation. So let me give you some example. Buildings, vehicles, equipments. Alright, I think we have other few examples. Perhaps you can give me later on. And later on, the second part is intangible asset. So these are the assets that without any physical substance and offer economic benefit to business. Ini merupakan aset yang akan memberikan faedah ekonomi pada masa depan ataupun kepada perniagaan. Example again, trademark, patents, copyrights. And the last part is other assets such as long-term investment, pelaburan jangka panjang. Example, fixed deposit for more than a year and purchase of bond. So enclosed is a few examples of pictures of fixed tangible asset, intangible asset, long-term investment, and now we go for the second part, as I told you just now, current asset. So current asset refer to the cash and other resources expected to be converted into cash within a year, constantly of changing form and value. Ini merupakan aset yang cepat ditukarkan kepada tunai dalam tempoh setahun. Example, inventory, account receivable, cash, or bank. So come again, these are some few pictures. Okay, we can see money, the bank. So we go for the later part. Hold on. Sorry, sekejap. Pergi mana dah? Ya bukti. Oops, sorry. So let me continue again. Now we go to liability. So when I'm talking about liability, right? This liability refers to the obligation to be paid by the business entity to another party. Ini merupakan satu obligasi yang kena dibayar kepada pihak ketiga. And this liability divided into two types. First is a non-current liability. Come again, when I'm saying non-current liability, that means it's more than 1 year. So these are the debts to be settled within a period exceeding more than 1 year. So example again, long-term loan, mortgage ataupun gadai janji. So hutang atau this is a picture, loan application, mortgage. So the same thing, liability also have the second part, we call it current liability. And these are the liability that less than a year, debt dues in less than a year. Example, account payable, expense payable, unearned revenue. So now we go for the final part, owner equity, equity per million. So owner equity refer to the owner claims on asset of the business. So these are the capital invested by the owner into the business. So the net profit or loss as a result of business activity. So we go into the detail again, the owner equity. The first part is capital. So as what I told you just now, as capital refer to the asset contributed by the owner into the business. It will add value to the owner equity. So the second part of the owner equity is drawing ataupun kita panggil ambilan. So drawing is refer to the owner issuing the business asset, cash or merchandise for his own use. So come again, for his personal own use. The effect will reduce value of the owner equity. And the last part is a profit income. So this one, profit or untung basic, is come from, derived from revenue less expenses. Now what is revenue? So normally revenues refer to all income from the sales of goods or the provision of services based on the concept of revenue recognition. And here again, revenue will increase the owner equity. We have two types of revenues. First is a revenue of business, example, sales or service revenue. And the second part is a revenue of non-business, example, interest income, rental income, gain on sales of fixed asset. And what about expenses? Perbelanjaan. Expenses are cost of asset used up or services used in the cost of operating a business. Expenses will decrease the owner equity. Example, utility, sales commission, delivery expense, and property tax. So when we are talking about the accounting equations, we cannot run away from analysis of the transaction. So the accounting equations show how asset, liabilities, and owner equity are related. Asset appear on the left side of the equation and the liability and owner equity always on the right hand side.